Okay, hello. Welcome to another bonus stream. I'm taking advantage of all the holiday time that I can. See. I've accidentally gone to the title screen and we can see that we're 52% of the way through. Yo, 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 Gibbon. Let's crack on. Refuge of the Air Giants. Oh, that's right, I'm gonna need my mouse hand ready for this. Hit that button. Yep. Good stuff. Back to Earth. Ouch. See, half my health in one hit. It's ridiculous. Yeah, so yesterday I was playing a couple of Disney games on DS. Started with Princess and the Frog, did a little bit of Tangled, and now I'm on to Brave. Of course, continuing the theme of women characters in games that I'm exploring this year in my streams. So Brave is the one I enjoyed the most yesterday, and I decided I'd come back to it today to finish it off. Whoopsie. Alright. Okay. Kill the ads first, that's the rule, isn't it? Switch back to Earth. Try and get that potion. Excellent. Nimbly dodged that shockwave. Yikes. Again, hit the ads first. You can sod off. Excellent. What have we won, Johnny? Hello? Come on, you were sitting on me all morning. Don't tell me you need more. Don't tell me you need more attention. Ugh. I've been playing the Star Wars Episode 3 Revenge of the Sith tie-in game on PS2. And while I've been playing it this morning, she's been sitting on my lap. Shoot more enemies sounds pretty good about now. Let's go with that. And we'll get the next level of piercing next, probably. So I was thinking of things I could talk about today as I was playing this more. And I realized that way back, when I was playing Portal Runner on the Game Boy Color, which is the spin-off of the Army Men franchise, where you play as Vicky Grimm, I talked about the theme or the trope of women characters being associated with bows and arrows. And I wondered how widespread that was. So I did a bit of thinking, I had a look around a little bit, and it's probably not as big a trope as I thought. It is, of course, a historical, it's got a historical basis in the legends of Amazons who supposedly amputated one of their breasts in order to be better with a bow and arrow so it wouldn't get in the way if they're pulling the string back and such. So I think there's been an association because of that legend, which comes from Greek. Oh hey Bob, good to see you. It's been ages since I've had you on a stream. How are you going? Are you still streaming yourself? I remember tuning into one of your Nuts and Bolts streams once. I think the last time, yeah, hello. The last time I remember talking to you was about Mars Attack stuff. You were getting very into it. Wow, there's like an entire bird on this bow. Yeah, he had some kind of goodie bag that was full of Mars Attack swag. It was amazing. Just re-downloaded Twitch. Thinking of streaming Cuphead for fun at some point. Yeah, go for it. That's a fun game and it's getting a lot of attention all the time, especially because of the update, right? They're going to add a female playable character, which is something I approve of, obviously. Yeah, there's like a... I don't know, she's got like a jug for her head. I don't know. I don't remember, but she had a yellow skirt, I think. Yeah. Those characters are cute. Oh, I spoiled the cat, and now she's expecting heaps of attention. Maybe she was just starved because I ignored her all day yesterday since she'd made a mess, and I didn't want to reward her or anything. Assuming that her memory works like that. DLC comes out next year. Oh, really? It's going to take that long. Talk about announcing things in advance. A new island to explore and more bosses. Oh, of course. Sounds good. Myself, I do not stream the popular games, as you can see. I dive way into the back catalogue. The obscurer, the better. I'm thinking of doing a WonderSwan game next week, actually. See if you can guess what I'm thinking of on the WonderSwan. Yeah, these are trial and error. You just keep scrolling through until you get to it. Oh, that's not quite it. There, that should be it. No, damn. Okay, it must be wrong up one of them, right? Or does this just keep going? Yeah, okay. So try something else. Maybe try that. There we go. So you're a Disney fan too, aren't you, Bob? What did you think about Disney Pixar Brave, the movie? I guess it's only called Disney Pixar Brave for the game. Oh, what's this? Cutscene. Okay, it's showing me that there's a slope. Fantastic. Wonder what this one does. Yeah, the touchscreen minigames. Luckily they're pretty simple, otherwise they'd be more annoying than they are. They're brief diversions, you know. Yeah, that's how I feel about it too, and I think a lot of people, which is kind of a problem, just saying, it was pretty okay about the movie. Have I found a new... Yes. Let's definitely backtrack for treasure. I don't just want to beat this game, I want to rinse it. It won't take much extra time, to be honest. It's quite a simple game. I do wonder about the console version. I probably should have checked it out in the last day. But I just didn't get around to it. Shush. Go sit by your bed. You've got a new heater now. Surely you're not cold. There's plenty of sun today. She'll give up soon and she'll go and sit in the sun and then she'll be happy. Bob says the animation was nice, the story was good, and the music was cool too. Yeah, I don't really remember the music much. Or the story, to be honest. I mean, I remember the broad strokes, but as I was playing this game yesterday, I was sort of thinking back and going, I don't really remember the specific machinations. Fully pierce enemies or 5 enemies? There's probably not going to be 5 at a time unless I'm piercing them, so we'll get the piercing first. Enemies and objects. The element adjusts to the enemy? Oh, that sounds really powerful. Then I don't have to bother with the touchscreen clicking. Definitely doing that next. Do you remember the active volcano in Brave? I don't think that was a thing. These are very simple. Babies first, block puzzles. Yeah, it was sort of Pixar's attempt to do a Disney-style princess movie, kind of. And I won't say that the problems with the movie are because of their inexperience in the field. It was more production issues that we talked about before, with people leaving the project due to John Lasseter's awful harassment. Yes, he's a terrible person. Let's not say that. He did bad things. I don't know. What's the distinction? When do you say someone is a terrible person? How unrepentant is he? Who knows? I'm not going to speculate. I don't know all the inside details. But we do know that he has done things that people shouldn't do, basically. Pow, pow, pow. Yeah, I think this is the way to do combat. Give me the goodies, yeah. I don't remember the underground pit, but yes, there was a bear. Not really much like an active volcano, says Bob. Were there also golems and magic boars and stuff? I do not remember this. Don Bluth returned to the Disney Studios. What does that mean? Is he working for them again? Isn't he like 100 years old? I saw the pictures. Were you posting those pictures? I saw some pictures of him around there. But yeah, a lot of other people on the Discord and people in those circles are bigger animation nerds than me. I just know what I like, you know. Ooh, here we go, sliding ice puzzle. So maybe I need to, yep, go here, yep. Oops. Oh, excuse you. Gesundheit. No. Evil trees. Oh, it wasn't Bob that posted them. I don't know who did, but Bob says he was excited to see him there. Don't think he was working there, just came to visit. Yeah, fair enough. Alright, this is going to be needed over here somewhere. Yes, so I was talking about the association of women with bows. I think, like, it was definitely in my mind, but I think it's something that's more been revived in recent years, thanks probably a lot to do with the success of the Hunger Games as a book and film franchise. This rock looks weak. My sword would easily break it. How about a bow though? Haha, yeah, the bow will break it too. Ah. Need my air element back. Yeah, so the trend that I've noticed in recent years is probably more the result of the Hunger Games. So I'm thinking of things like how in the new Tomb Raider games, she prominently has a bow. One thing that stuck out to me when I noticed it was so during the development of Mighty No. 9, there was a sort of collaborative element, very minor, where they internally had a number of concept sketches for like designs. Oh wow, I was standing on nothing there. Did you see that? Yeah, pretty cool, huh? And yeah, and then they get the Kickstarter backers to vote on which design they wanted to see. So when they were introducing the character of Call, who was the companion to Beck, there were a bunch of different looks that they threw around that people could choose between. The one that actually got picked wasn't my favorite. It's a lot like Roll, which is playing even more into the this is just a clone of Mega Man concept that was going into Mighty No. 9.
Creatures aren't like the others. It's like they're made of pure corruption.
Oh wow. Okay, that's new. Oh yeah, I don't need to change my element anymore. Love it. should be getting a new armor soon, since I got a new sword and a bow just now. Yeah, so the call they ended up going with was the blonde one with the pink dress. And likewise, call was going to be added in a co-op mode, and so she needed a weapon, and they had the poll for what's the look of the weapon that you want Call to have, and the one that actually ended up winning was a bow, and that stuck out to me because I was like, really? It doesn't really fit, but it's like a sci-fi laser bow or something, you know. The other ones are like ray guns and stuff. I guess it was the design that stood out the most. Everything else was pretty generic, so maybe that's why people picked it, but I definitely think the whole Hunger Games bow thing played into it since she was a lady. That was my impression anyway, I don't know. Oops. And yeah, of course I noticed this one playing Portal Runner because Vicky has a bow the whole way through with a nice little, yeah, like physics ballistic profile on the arrow projectile, which I liked. Yeah, don't even bother switching. Is Merida's strength. She uses a sword a lot in this game. Not that I remember too well, but did she use it in the movie? Did she use a sword in the movie? I don't know. Anyway. Being an archer was like her whole thing. She was definitely the tomboy character type. Which, you know, is one of those quote-unquote feminist ideas. I've wanted to talk about this at some point, but the idea of a, you know, quote-unquote strong female character is something that some feminists kind of cringe at, because a lot of the ideas of what that means don't always align with everyone's idea of what would be ideal, to put it politely. Okay. Because, you know, one way to make a female character like quote-unquote feminist or like strong in the eyes of some creators is to make them just the same as a man and do everything a man would do, but so their gender doesn't really matter. But there's the other perspective where you want, like, you might want their femininity to play a part in what makes their character, you know. So like being gender blind is one thing, but having them actually, their femaleness be part of who they are is another thing. Oh, that's a nice little outfit. I like it better than the drab guard armor we just had. I'll have a look at those in more detail when I get back to the map screen. So yeah, that's something that's been on my mind a while, but I haven't really been able to articulate it too well. And I don't have any answers, of course. There's just sort of concerns. And even though I call myself a feminist, I can't endorse every character that I've played as in all these streams, depending on their design and how they're written and stuff. But I have found some really cool characters that I do enjoy a lot. So that's nice. Okay. Oh, the armor's pretty similar actually, just a different color. Oh well. That bow looked a lot more gross and gnarly in the model as opposed to this sprite. Oh, the sword's nice though, very ornate. Yeah, you can go back and switch to other ones. I don't know why you would. Unless these are all just cosmetic. I've been assuming they're like upgrades and as you progress you get stronger. But you know what? Maybe not. I think these are just cosmetic. Now that I think of it. Oh, they have names. I didn't notice that before. What are they called? So training armor, then basic armor, bear strike armor. I don't see what's so armored about a dress, but okay. Elkhorn armor, Mustang hoof armor. And for bows, we start with a training bow, short bow, bear strike, composite bow, and then Elkhorn siege bow. Training sword, short sword, bear strike blade, Elkhorn gladius, and Mustang shock talwar. Wow, they're really dipping into their book of adjectives there. Not adjectives. A thesaurus is what I'm trying to say. Okay, yes. More arrows, please. Gonna be a bow machine. How's chat doing? No new messages. Okay, that's fine. Hope the thing isn't playing up again. But I'm using not the dashboard view, which is the one that usually has the problems. So I'm confident. Okay, so grab that block when I can. Back off, Sonny. Dude. Dude. Let's take care of this the old-fashioned way. With a big pointy stick, also known as a sword. Hang on, can I use this to get up to that ledge? I didn't try that. Fast forward. It only speeds up a tiny bit because the emulation. Yep, I knew it. Yeah, I guess the emulation is taking up a fair amount of computer resources. If I'm emulating simpler systems, the speed up goes much faster. Okay, what's next? Simon. So far these have all been quite simple. And that way it's just add one extra step. Starting at one step. Okay. Ooh, many treasures. But also steam. Watch out for volcanic steam. Or I suppose gases. Wow. That is fancy. Gibbon says, this game seems decent enough. I agree. That's why I wanted to play more. Interesting contrasting it with the animistic stuff from Quest for Camelot. Yeah. Yes. Yes. Can you just clarify for me what you mean by animistic? Not to sound like an idiot, but... this rock looks weak. Oh, that line again. Do you mean like all the stuff you saw in the Enchanted Forest in Quest for Camelot? Well, everything was alive and the plants and the rocks had minds of their own kind of thing. As compared to that, this is a bit grounded, despite it being full of like magical creatures and golems and stuff. Because, to be honest, the stuff in Quest for Camelot was quite surreal at times. Not that much of that came through in the game adaptation. Yeah, that is what he was talking about, living trees and things like that. Gibbon says this game is portraying that sort of Gaelic Enchanted Forest stuff much better than the actual Quest for Camelot game did. Okay, I see. Yeah, it is an interesting contrast, isn't it? Since they have similar themes. I mean, Quest for Camelot is a little bit later in terms of the Arthurian legend. Whereas I feel like this is portraying something of an earlier age, a bit more feudal. But yeah, in terms of the mythology of the magic of the land and stuff. Basically everything in this game seems motivated by the antagonistic spiritual force of Mordu, who's created all these evil creatures. Although we've got the will-o'-the-wisps and our own elements that we're using. Which again, the four element system is a Greek thing and doesn't really fit with the setting. I'd say as not an authority on the subject. I don't really know if they had systems like that in ye olde Gaelic, Celtic kind of systems of belief. It's just kind of a modern day synthesis of ancient what do you call it, belief systems about how the world works. Cosmology, yeah, sort of like that. This bow's nuts. Notice that she seems to be holding a flat 2D sprite in her hand with no depth. Give me a challenge, block puzzles. Yes. Oh, I'd run out of examples of bows. So like I said, it's not quite as widespread as the connection seemed to be in my head. At least not in the video game sphere. I certainly found a few articles while searching for it about it becoming a trend in movies. Why don't we, yeah, better health refill. And I never used that. I never used that either. I just smash. Next I'll get the sword attack, I think, or more regeneration. Yeah, so while I was looking into it, I asked on another Discord about whether people could think of examples, and they sort of went further back to JRPGs and stuff where sort of the rule was that men are strong up-close fighters and women get relegated to, or like only have ranged roles like magic or bows. So some people came up with a lot of examples from RPGs of that kind of thing, but not as an explicit connection with archery for women. Thought about checking the Mario and Sonic Olympic games as well to see if the archery event was something that was more often done by women, but it seems pretty even. The later games had this unfortunate tendency to not let you pick every character for every event, but to lock certain characters only to certain sports and events. And so in one case, archery was only doable by the team heroes and the team girls. But whether that means anything or not, I don't know. Ta-da! Yeah, all the bosses are kind of the same, which is a shame. You just knock down the elemental stones that are giving them power, and then you hit the big golem a bunch of times. Metroid Prime Hunter style repetition of bosses. I believe we have a new bow to look at. The Mustang's Shock Hunter bow. They're just getting more ridiculous. Soon I'm going to have an absolutely massive bow. So what was I going to do? Health or sword? I'm using the bow a lot, so let's just go health. We'll get sword next. Seems like by the end I'll have all the upgrades. Ooh, now we're in a glacier. Tranquil Glacier. Does Scotland have glaciers? Really? Maybe it did back in the last ice age. You know, when the Thames froze over. That's supposed to have been like a mini ice age in, I want to say the 1800s, something. There was supposedly a time when some big body of water froze over and all these wolves came over the ice and started attacking the town or something. I mean, it's not funny. A lot of people were probably hurt, but yeah. That doesn't seem to be the answer. How about this one? Good old trial and error. The best kind of trial. Not that either. So maybe this one. Nope. This one? Come on. Oh yes, no? This time for sure. So, how's everyone else doing? I know Gibbon just broke his toe, so he's not doing too well. Sorry about that, buddy. Aha! I'm close to a breakthrough. Haha! So we've been through a swamp, a cave, a volcano, and now an icy river. Classic video games. And it basically matches the elements more or less. These pressure plates are larger. 2 stones should be enough weight to activate one of the plates. Oh, I've lost the accent a little bit there. These are harpies apparently, by the way. Let's try a sword a little bit. Want some variety. It's quite powerful actually. Oh. Given saying he's more bummed out by his Smash for Wii U memory being corrupted. And that he didn't get to stream since he was getting x-rays. Well, why can't you stream now? I'll watch it. I'll stop this right now. No, I gotta finish the game first. Give me a minute. Okay, so we'll do one and the other. Ah, new block. I remember that happening to you with the Smash thing, like, right early on, like when you first got it, right? It resulted in some pretty amusing glitches that I've seen. It's fine. Oh, cool. Yeah, hope that toe heals up quickly. Did they splint it or something? I was wondering this morning when you asked what they do to fix a broken toe. Because they're a bit small to put a full cast on or a proper splint. My wife said they'd probably bind it to the other toes next to it and just tell you to be careful for a few weeks or something. Oh, still no fix, huh? For the corrupted memory, I mean. Or do you mean the toe? When you say a fix for it by now, do you mean modern medicine should have fixed broken toes? What do you mean the Smash corruption thing? Which I don't think was really a Smash issue, it's just something that could happen with any game, right? That's how I understood the problem. You were just unlucky enough to have it happen to you. I think a lot of people noticed it when they got Smash because that was the first time they got their Wii U and turned it on. Ooh, an orthopedic boot. I've seen a lot of those recently. A lot of people at my work apparently seem to break toes and ankles and feet because, yeah, I've seen 1, 2, 3, at least 3 people with the big boot on. It prevents me from putting weight on it and keeps it straight and gave me some bindings to wrap to the toe next to it. Okay. Whoops. Wow. Slippery chests, huh? 4 to 6 weeks. Yikes. Yeah, sorry to hear. And all from a simple stubbed toe on a door frame. It's crazy. We're fragile beings, us humans. That just looks like the last one. Oh, nice. Gibbon's friend is going to lend him a fancy cane that can unfold into an umbrella. That's pretty amazing. Like, if you can't get a sword cane, an umbrella cane's the next best thing, I think. I had to walk with a cane for a while because I had a hernia, an inguinal hernia, not from busting a gut, like not from exertion, but it was a developmental problem since I was born premature. Part of my inner organ lining didn't develop properly. 6 weeks, 7 weeks at premature I was. I'm a little medical doofus. So yeah, next will be the sword. But we can look at our new sword upgrade. Not upgrade. I like that one. Slightly simpler than the last one, but nice enough. Oh, does Rabid Cranky's cane do that? It unfolds into a crossbow, doesn't it? A little bit different. Yeah, hopefully healed in time for PAX, he says. Yeah, let's hope. Fingers crossed. Oops. Because that's an event where you do a lot of walking and standing, and it's a strain on the feet. Means he can't do his usual multi-hour hikes daily. Oh wow. That must be why you have so much time for audiobooks.
That's not a real wolf. It's just Mordu's blight made to look like one.
Can't help but feel that audio cue is misplaced. There are no wolves on screen right now. We've got golems and boars. Still, I appreciate the voice acting in this game, even if it is quite sporadic. Yeah, a random act of voiceover, as you say again. You probably find you're gaining a little bit of weight while you have to stay off your foot, unfortunately. Yeah, I got the sword upgrade that hits them up into the air. It's kind of silly when you do it on the larger enemies. Oh, the voiceover, by the way, is the actor from the movie reprising her role. And I didn't write her name down, so I don't know what it is. Sorry. Sorry, actress. These guys aren't giving me orbs. What's the deal? I need my orbs. Shiniest shiny orbs. Ooh, they're getting longer. Could it actually become challenging? I'm gonna go with no. Ah, another trial and error. We're in the era of trial and error. Error? Yeah. Sorry, I went for a joke there. Pronunciation spoiled it. Okay, I don't know how that's supposed to work. Magic, I guess. Yeah, I used magic. There was magic inherent in the ice. It's that animism thing. Ooh. Tricky. Very not tricky. Oh, that was tricky. Okay. Yep. I've played Pokemon. I've done way harder puzzles than that. Gold version Victory Road, anyone? Oh. Okay. Shortcut. Oops. Okay, it's the same as the last one, but black. The armor seems to be grouped in threes, where each new set of three has just palette swaps of each other, kind of thing. Oh boy. So yeah, I mentioned the time setting of this game a few times. Makes me wish I knew a little bit more about British history. That would be my wife's area of expertise. She's very into that. I guess I should ask her about it. We would have seen the movie together. Sword's better for one-on-ones. Oh, okay, that's the end. Seems like the medals are some kind of multiplier, maybe. I don't have time to write an equation out for this whole thing. We got a new something, didn't we? Yeah, the armor. Helmets change color. Reminds me of the armor of the Rohirrim from the Lord of the Rings movies. Which is not surprising because they were based on... Yeah, they would have been based on this culture kind of thing. Except less Scottish. That's probably my favorite musical cue from the whole trilogy. It's the Rohirrim theme that they introduced in Two Towers. So that's my mainstream knowledge of a British-ish culture, is whatever they ripped off for Lord of the Rings. Of course, Tolkien himself was a whatchamacallit, linguist and historian and expert on ancient cultures and writings and stuff. He knew what he was doing. I see you, treasure chest. You think you can hide from me? Let me in, buddy. Come on. There we go. The sword is more powerful, but better for single enemies, and also when it knocks them into the air, that just wastes time. Again, this is definitely a speedrun. This game, you will see it at the next GDQ for sure. What did I watch this morning from GDQ? I just got done watching... It was in like the stupid bad games block where it was this really cheap 3D platformer that was in Portuguese or something. Like Miner's Adventure. It was pretty hilarious. There's another one, yeah. Oh yeah, fast forward mode. Slightly faster. Yes, so I did come up with a few things to talk about in this continuation today, but I've kind of run out of those at this point. Brave, so Pixar. Was this like the first Pixar movie that got kind of a meh reception? I mean, there's Cars 2, of course, but again, I don't know the chronology of the company well enough to say which one came first. Found a new bow, which didn't render properly in the bow getting cutscene. Oh, this one's even more insane. It's ginormous, ridiculously so. Unnecessarily, you might say. Yeah, Tony and Color aren't here. Color expressed, like, disbelief and disdain for the concept of a Brave tie-in game, so I didn't expect her to show up. Also, she's never shown up to one of my streams, so oh well. And yeah, I guess Tony's just not looking. But we do have Bob. That's our biggest Disney fan here right now. I don't know, he might have left. He hasn't talked in a while. I guess it'll just have to be you and me, casual Disney fans. Like, the illusion of Pixar always making quality movies has got to be broken at this point, right? After like Cars 3 and The Good Dinosaur, which was a kind of critical flop, you could say, even though I know people enjoyed it. Just didn't have the resounding success a lot of their movies did before. Let's go with the slam attack. That's something I can use if I remember. Oh, right. Giant, of course. So keep in mind I got all those health regeneration upgrades. So keep an eye on my bar. It's not moving very fast, is it? Disappointing. Slam attack! Yeah, that wasn't great. Let's try that charge attack. Ow! Ow! Get out of the way. Like I said, switching elements is pretty tricky with an emulator setup. Oh, nutso. This is getting hectic the more they pile on. Okay, go. Ow. Oh, thank goodness. Another samey boss fight down. Gold medal. Woot. What else can we get? Maximum slam. Now I can just switch between bow and slam attack if I get surrounded. Okay, now we're in a different kind of cave. Pretty exciting, huh? Oh, this again. This is probably my least favorite one. There's nothing puzzly about it. You just keep swiping until you get the solution. Okay, at least that one didn't take us long. Slam! I already made the space jam joke. Resist, resist. Although I don't think it does damage much unless you have the correct element installed. I wonder if I can use a different button to change elements. Oops, oh yeah, the roll. Oh, I can! I can press L! Oh. That's gonna help a lot. what you get for not reading the manual, folks. Of course, I highly doubt there's a scan of this manual online. And I'm not going to own it in meat space. Oh, what? Gotta get my 3D glasses adjusted. Oh, it's moving in the Z axis or Y axis? Would that be Y or Z? X, Y. I think Z would be up, right? Or is it when, like, if from the perspective of transitioning from 2D games to 3D games, adding a Z axis would be adding depth. I forgot that I could press L immediately. So compared to a side scroller, this has an extra Z axis here, whereas compared to a top down, the Z axis would be here, right? So I guess it depends. Dimension theory, not theory really. What's this about? Bear claw mark? I must be getting close. They summon enemies if you get their combination wrong. Which again, entirely trial and error. There is no way to predict what the combination will be. Those nasty thieves. Mandrake roots. Ooh. Don't know what this is supposed to be, but it has secret fireplace entrances. Some kind of old ruined castle. Oh, is this from the movie? Once again, it's been too long. And there are many other movies I would rather be watching. But it must say something to you that there are many other games I could be playing, and yet here I am, streaming this.
Mordor's corruption's now a bore.
Ah, okay. Another completely random and out of place. Oh, I guess there are boars here. Okay, I'll give you a pass on that. But really should have been applied when the boars first appear. Really. Come on, Brave for DS. What are you doing? Behavior interactive. Get thine royal act together. Oh, nice. Is this based on one of those chess pieces that they found in that one hoard? I don't remember the name of it, but you know the one. The famous hoard that they found in the UK that was buried with a very important personage. I'm pretty sure that the chess set in Harry Potter, the movie, was based on that. Possibly. Give me the good sun. I'm so glad I can press L. By the way, that's the case too in the Zelda DS games, which took me too long to figure out because I wasn't paying attention there either, I suppose. But when... Oh! Okay, that was the end of the level. When you have to press a little button to activate one of your items, you could just press L instead. Very helpful. Okay, what should we use? Circle or... Rain of arrows. Let's go the rain since I've been spamming the bow so much. Right, and the new sword. Oh, I can use L and R here as well. So what have I gotten recently? The Ursine Lash armor. The Ursine Leash battle bow. Okay, so bit of inconsistency there. It's either Ursine Leash or Ursine Lash. Thanks for the quality control behavior interactive. Ursine Leash Edge was that one. And we've just got the sharpened cutlass, which doesn't look incredibly like a cutlass. Again, I think they're just throwing a thesaurus at the wall. Because a lot of sword
It's
names...
just more of Mordu's corruption taking the shape of the Wicker Men.
Oh, the Wicker Man, okay. Is that what the tree guys are supposed to be? Interesting. Yeah, like sword names do refer to specific types of shapes of swords, you know. Can't just throw words around willy-nilly, people. Oh, cool. But I want the moolahs. It's probably a pedestal up ahead. Nice spike pit, of course. Combinations with the pressure plates. That's new and that's unwelcome. Because there's no error like trial and error. You could say it's an error in game design. Okay, that got us some treasure. Gibbon says it's interesting looking at errors in names like that. Well, I feel like both of them would have been picked up by a spell checker because they're not, neither of them are actual words. But, like, I don't know. Proofreading a final product before it gets released, like, is that not a thing anymore? Reminds me of the famous mistake that was recently discovered or recently rediscovered in Aliens Colonial Marines, where the alien creatures in the game have bizarre and completely stupid AI that does ridiculous things and doesn't focus on the player or what they're supposed to do, but just sort of runs around randomly sometimes. They found that there was an error in the code where with one misplaced letter, instead of writing in part of the code that there would be a function called like AI tether to tether an alien to a location. It was spelled tether with an A. And with one tiny typo, the entire AI system for all the enemy characters in the game was completely broken. And someone was able to fix it and make the gameplay much better as intended just by removing one letter from the code. One single character. Pretty ridiculous. Speaking of Pokemon, says Gibbon, Tail Whip was supposed to be more of a disarming wag of the tail, hence why it lowers defense. So Tail Whip doesn't really get across the original intent, but now we're stuck with it. Oh yeah, there are so many of those, especially if you look into localization of Pokemon into other languages. You see things where instead of one meaning of the word, they've gone with a different one. I can't think of any examples, but there's some utterly ridiculous like misinterpretations in Pokemon localization that give you some really stupid, like Splash, for example, is one that Magikarp knows that is a completely useless move, and it works basically for Magikarp, but because it wasn't a complete transliteration of the original intent, you get problems like when another Pokemon can learn Splash that's not actually a water type, then how do you explain why Jumpluff is doing Splash? Because in Japanese what it means is just flop around or something, words to that effect. So how am I supposed to be able to, because I have to be over there first to, so what if I move this one? What did that do? Oh, I'm just going to go through here. That's not a gold chest, is it? I need the gold chests for completion. Yeah, it's just red. Or the spelling errors in the Lufia games, says Gibbon. Oh yeah, there's a lot of those. That's a problem. But Yeah, it's depressingly common. Like just today in Star Wars, I was playing Star Wars, Episode 3 Revenge of the Sith for PS2. Looking at the concept art gallery, and every piece of concept art has a little description. And there's a bit where you're playing as Obi-Wan and some clones come in to help you. This is before Order 66. And they come down on zip lines from outside and come in through a window to help you fight Grievous. And as the description of the concept art says, clone troopers repel in, R-E-P-E-L, which they actually meant rappel, R-A-P, double P, R-A-P-P-E-L, which is what you do when you're on a rope going down a cliff face. So yeah, that's like repel is actually a word, so the spell checker wouldn't have picked it up. It just takes someone not knowing how to spell. It's easy enough to do a mistake like that. But yeah, I mean, speaking of Lufia, I've noticed tons of mistakes in Konami games, the Castlevania games on DS, for example. Oh, that's a fourth piece of armor, and it's a recolor of an existing one. I'm disappointed now. I said they came in groups of 3. I was wrong. And yeah, Capcom games too. A lot of the Mega Man Zero games have localizations just riddled with typos. In fact, if you search my blog for riddled with typos, I'm sure you'll find more than a few reviews where I call that out on various kinds of games. And I'm always disappointed when it happens, because I expected better. Take that, Wicker Man. Isn't Wicker Man the name of a horror movie? Of course, it's all based on real life scary stuff, I'm sure. And by that I mean scarecrows. But yeah, there are some funny typos in Lufia, since you bring it up. The very memorable one, of course, in Legend Returns for the Game Boy Color is Goddess. I can't remember how they say it, because they do have spoken dialogue in Curse of the Sinistrals on DS. So Goddess, Gades, I used to call him to rhyme with Hades. Anyway, he says he's supposed to say, "This is what I would call true destruction," but instead he says, "This is what I would call through destruction." You can see it in in one of the screenshots on the Hardcore Gaming 101 article on the Lufia series. Oh, it's so good. The community's even latched onto it. So there's a mod for Lufia 2 that fixes a lot of the glitches and typos from the original release, and it's called Through Lufia. That's probably the best typo in a game that I've seen. I think I can use this pillar as a bridge to cross the chasm. Good for you, Merida. Of course, there's plenty more examples. I follow the Legends of Localization blog, as should you all, which is full of amusing articles about the way things have been localized and mislocalized, often from Japanese to English, because that's Mato's specialty, Clyde Mandolin. Although he sometimes does the other way around, looking at, rarely, but he's occasionally looked at how English language games get ported to Japanese and the challenges with that, and sometimes the amusing The block became a platform. I should make sure I place the block to create an access to the other platform. The other platform. You gotta learn to roll your R's. A bit like, who does that? Christopher Lee? Does he do that? Pew pew. There was some good R rolling in Lord of the Rings, I'm sure. Elrond. Move this way. Oh, come on. Do I need to put it so close? Hey, sod off. The jump. It's not as responsive as... Like, she falls off the ledge just before jumping. Okay. No, don't shoot the golem. Okay, I can use that as an intermediary. That helps. And then I should be able to... Stuck! Stuck! Amusingly stuck. Oh! Switching element, like, bumped me up onto the ledge. I love it. By the way, just let's take a minute to appreciate the animation on the buttons on the touchscreen as they're selected. Little flowers appearing, some water falling upwards, very nice. The ripples in the air, swirling, and the burning flame, love it. Alright, so this needs to go, oops. Oh, okay. This way. Visual feedback is always nice, yeah. It's probably the best kind of feedback for those of us who are able-eyed. Having a visual disability always makes games much more difficult to work with, but not always impossible. I know that at least one visually impaired person has played through an entire Pokemon game thanks to small, like, accessibility features that the devs, like, didn't even think of as accessibility features, but the fact that you make a little noise when you bump into a wall in those games helped them to navigate the game environments. And you can bet that, like, the dev did not expect that to be used in that way exactly. Ah, okay, I can make that. You know, I haven't saved in ages. I haven't needed to. Yeah, devs should always be aware of accessibility, but they aren't always. Like giving things like options in controls for differently abled people, colorblind options, like if you need to distinguish colors in a game, having an option to change the palettes, things like that. It doesn't often happen, unfortunately, so when it does, it's nice to recognize it. And it really should be more widespread than it is. That's a whole heap of chunkies. That's the one. Pow pow! That ability isn't that great. Pew pew! Might be better on a large group of creatures. Let's try it. Pew pew pew! Still really gonna hit the big guy. Okay. Whatever. Oh. Oh. Okay. So the cutscene opened the door. It looked like it was moving me through the door, but I guess it just opened it. Oh, no gold medal. What am I doing wrong? I don't know. Have we got any new equipment? Oh, that's right. The eagle claw armor. Sharpened cutlass is a pretty generic name. Is this the... I might have missed a bow or something. These don't look like final end game equipments. So I might have missed something, or maybe that's just what you get. Oh, what do you know? I'm at the final level and I'm able to get all the upgrades. Cool stuff. So here it is, Mordu's Lair. We're gonna beat the game now in a little over 2.5 hours. No, Mum, this is my battle. Mend the bond torn by pride. I understand now. It was never just the tapestry or a magic spell. Pride, selfishness, and anger, those are the things that created Mordu. It's what kept him alive for centuries. That means I have to fight him on my own. Not just for Mum or the boys. Or even for our kingdom. I have to do it for myself. Mordu, you won't frighten me that easily. Rah. Nice. Nice bear model there. And since we've played today, there have been no new enemy types in the rest of the game. Oh well, there go my hopes for more content to experience. Okay, so beating all those enemies made a wind crack the tower. Magic. It's magic, right? Rah. So he's upgraded spin attack. Yeah, not bad. Still prefer the mashing with the bow, I think. Piercing arrows keep them all at bay. So yeah, Merida is the first Pixar character to become a Disney princess, right? She's part of that line now, and like, you know, you might have problems with the concept in first place, but my problem with her being reinterpreted to be part of that is that they redesigned her character, and you could say that it no longer looks authentic to the character design that she had in the movie. Like, I know, for example, they added a bunch of makeup to her face when she became a Disney princess and started being drawn in the same consistent 2D art style that the rest of them are. Oh, is that it? You don't actually fight Mordu? You just... But that's... that... my satisfaction has been robbed. But you just fight a bunch of waves of enemies and then his tower falls over? I guess that's it. So yeah, all that was keeping Mordu alive was his curse. Colon. This art's not bad. I wish it was, you know, a bit higher resolution, but that's the DS. Should we be scrolling through some subtitles here? Like, do they not quality check the end of the game? There's a colon there that's leaving me hanging. Much like the boss fight itself left me hanging for a satisfying combat encounter. Oh, whoa! Quality. Quality. Nobody watched that final cutscene. This is the European release of the game, by the way. There were 3 available on the ROM site that I looked at. The American one, the mainland Europe one, which is like English, French, Spanish, German, Italian, and Dutch. And there was also a Scandinavian one. So not to forget the Scandies, our friends up north. Denmark, Sweden and Norway, I think, were the languages listed as being on that version. Although, of course, there's Finland and Iceland as well. And sometimes Estonia. Yeah, so I'm pretty disappointed with the way that final cutscene didn't display the subtitles properly, which is a simple quality assurance issue, whereas the design of the final boss fight is also a problem, but more of a larger design related problem that would have taken more effort to make something better. Yeah, these are the people here, these quality assurance people, they're the ones you should blame for the state of the game at that point. Oh well. And I think I missed a bow at some point, but anyway. So that's Brave. Disney.Pixar Brave. That dot character, I don't know how to type it on a keyboard, but it came up a lot when I was looking for like this game on databases and stuff. Yeah, Pixar. So, you know, like I said, the movie was a bit of a troubled production. The game might have been as well. Every game ever made doesn't come out the way the developers 100% want it to, you know. I'm sure you could confirm that, Gibbon. Oh, there you go. Gibbon saying when he was in QA, like, don't blame the QA people. He says our pleas often fell on deaf ears for whatever reason, usually deadlines. So that's a very good point. Don't blame the little guy. Blame the managers, the upper level people who want to get the game rushed out on time and such. So, you know, when you're doing things in committee, problems can arise in the chain, etc. And like I said, that's part of the story of the film's production. That's part of the game's production. But even so, there's some strong concepts here. Merritt is a good character with a good design, and the game was, you know, just a little bit of fun, and I enjoyed it, and hope you did too. So that was the bonus stream for today. Yeah, thanks for hanging out. I feel some closure, but slightly aborted due to the two disappointments at the end there. But anyway, thanks for hanging out today, and I'll see you next Wednesday for the next regular stream. Bye bye now.